As we leave New Hampshire and head for Daytona for the final regular season race of the season, Denny Hamlin clinches the regular season championship that doesn't exist anymore. We move in and see who makes the final spots of the playoffs right now on Gas is on the Right podcast. And we are back. Welcome back post New Hampshire, everybody. How have y'all been? Emily and I have missed you two. Y'all been holding down the fort for a couple weeks now.
We do appreciate it. Life has been really lifing lately.
Ain't that the truth?
That's exactly how Daniel started the podcast last week.
Yeah,
I think verbatim, he said life
my
is
opening
life.
lines last week on last week's show.
just-
The life has been lifing.
I feel bad because I feel like Daniel has had more lifing lately, and somehow he's showed up and we've been
MIA.
Dedicated to the cause.
Hey, you got me part-time, baby. Part-time all the time. But no, guys, welcome back. We're leaving New Hampshire. One regular season race left to go, and then we are entering the mystical chase-offs. How you guys feeling about that?
Hey, I'm ready to get in the chase and see what happens. I'm thinking, we've had a lot of dominant guys off and on at different times this year. Tyler Reddick started off flaming hot. Denny Hamlin caught fire in the summer, and now it seems to be the Penske guys, Ryan Blaney, Joe Logano. So I'm interested to see who can keep it going, keep the momentum going for 10 straight weeks, and bring home the trophy at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it to get going too. Unfortunately, my way too early champion pick started off the year winning 2 races randomly, and as of recently has been crap in bed. Mr. Consistency has not been consistent in Chase Elliott.
Yeah, he's on that bubble for sure. When sitting in 8th right now in points, that bubble on can they win a championship from that position? Now on the flip side, my way too early championship pick started out the season abysmal and has worked all the way from last place in points to 6th place now, going into the regular season finale at Daytona this weekend.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe has definitely gotten his crap together after the start that they had.
Yeah, I realized I just didn't say his name. I was just, this is who he is. Everybody should know,
Let me go over too early season.
So,
or too early championship picks. So,
Emily, how are you sitting?
Alan had Briscoe.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel obviously had Elliott. I had Reddick, and Dan had Bell.
Well, how's Reddick sitting?
Reddick's been sitting great all season. I've been feeling great. I'm not even gonna lie.
He led the standings for about 700 weeks, and then he got chased down by none other than his team owner, the old man of the sport, Denny Hamlin.
I'm not upset about it. Look, I'm just saying mine has been sitting great all season. He may not have won the regular season. That does not exist anymore. So therefore, we're actually still in the running for these.
My guy,
Bell.
He's been the bridesmaid about 900 times this year. Seems like every week he's finishing second and can't just get over the hump. But I'm hoping that he goes on a heater. He takes one out of Denny Hamlin's book and goes on a massive heater in the chase offs and brings home the trophy at the end of the year. I can say I told y'all. I knew all along.
Yeah, he's definitely been catching a lot of its Ks, but he ain't done much with them.
Yeah, I'd say realistically, everyone's pick has a chance except mine right now.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if we look at this and it kind of plays out like the old Chase format, if Elliott can go on a heater and string together just top 5s, he's got a good chance. Because you can't tell me with a super speedway mixed in there and everything that there's not a chance. And a lot of tracks that lean towards Hendrick Chevys, minus the fact that Hendrick Chevys have turned off in the summer, which we've talked about in the past is consistent every year that Hendrick Chevys just kind of fall off.
Mm-hmm.
They got them, and normally it's one or two cars, but it seems like the whole entire team. The
That's what
Hendrick
worries
Chevys.
me. I mean, Larson's starting to turn back on, but that's what worries me is that the rest of them, which Byron did have a decent day going yesterday until somehow he lost a wheel that got changed to 2 pit stops prior. But I don't know. I just don't see it out of them right now.
Yeah, they gotta really turn something on and turn a corner after Daytona, and it's so hard because you're not going to be able to get a feel for any intermediate coming up after that because we've been running short tracks for really since summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you were talking about Penske, man. It was really after Norks Wilkesboro when Joey Logano finally got his first win of the season. Penske's turned up. I mean, you can go the week before Ryan Blaney, of course, winning Echo Park, but they've been on a tear right now.
Yeah, I mean, and especially for the manufacturer as a whole, for towards the beginning of the season, we're like, besides Ryan Blaney, there's no one else, and Ford really performing great right now. And it was one Penske car and all 3 RFK cars in the chase, and now it's one RFK car and all 3 of the Penske cars in the chase. So it's stuff can happen fast, especially when you start winning. I mean, we saw that with Logano. He's gone from he was 19th, 20th in the points, and now he's 9th or 10th in the points within a
Yeah, I
matter
think
of 6
he was like
weeks.
60 to 80 points out of the chase offs right before his win. Um, and really right before Atlanta. And then after that, he's turned on and found himself well within the top 10, sitting ninth at minus 319. And he's still got some positions he can make up this week.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a stat last week that I threw out at the very end of the show talking about just kind of how impressive Logano's run was. I'm trying to scroll through that and find that out now. But it was just like telling me how far he was back post Sonoma and how many positions he made up. Here it is. After Sonoma, Joe Logano was 20th in the standings, 31 points below the cut line. 7 races and 2 wins later, he now sits 9th in the standings, 92 points clear of the cut line. This is not a last week's stat. Logano gained 11 positions in the standing in 7 races. No one else gained more than 6. It just tells you how impressive that race up the pace-off standings was for him.
Well, and that's going to tell you how this season is going to lead out for him. He's got some good tracks coming up for him, but you got to look at like Las Vegas. You got to look at Phoenix. You got to look at Dega and Martinsville. Leading up to Homestead are great tracks for that 22 team. So there is a real chance that this even number year trend could keep rolling.
Yeah, I was about to say it is an even numbered year, and that tends to be when Joe Logano wins his championships as of late.
Yeah, that would be very, very crazy to get our first 4-time champion in about a decade now, right? Because Gordon got 4 and 16.
No, Gordon won his 4th championship
In 2001.
in 2001. It would
Oh,
be
my time is way off.
yeah, it would be. I mean, I think that was the year he was close, but Dale Jr. won at Martinsville, and if Gordon would have won, or was that 2014 when it was whatever year Brad Keselowski was a menace on the racetrack.
Dan, you should know this one
I know
very
Jeff
well.
Gordon's last time in the championship 4 was, I believe, his last season, 2015. He won at Martinsville to send himself to Phoenix and race for a championship in his last season. And I think some mechanical problems ended his day, and he finished 4th in the
So
standings.
that must
I
have been
think
it
that's
must
why
have
I
been
was
the
thinking
year
that, Dan.
prior at 2014 when Junior won at Martinsville and Gordon finished second. I believe that's when it was, because I think that's the year that him and Keselowski got in a fight at Texas in the playoffs. If I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the year. But anyways, it would be Jimmy Johnson, not Jeff Gordon. Old 7-time is the most recent
Yeah,
4-time
yeah.
champion.
There we go. There we go. But that's still about a decade.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely
God,
a
has it really been that long since Jimmy Johnson? I think he won in 2016, didn't he? That's when he got 7.
I think that was his 7th. Yeah, it was 2016.
Yeah. Man, it's been 10 years since Jimmy Johnson won a championship. We're getting old.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
11 years since we graduated high school, buddy.
I don't want to talk about that.
God, y'all are showing y'all's age right now.
11 years. Try 15 this year.
Oof.
When you
I'm
get
not
there.
even at 10 yet.
All right,
so-
Grandpa. Now it's
Yeah.
getting late. We got to get you your pudding before bedtime, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, some irony this week. They decided to move the race up an hour for potential rain, and then it rained for that hour that they moved the race up and wasn't raining when the race was scheduled to start. And if that's not NASCAR for you, I don't know what it is.
what an absolute you can't write a better script. Between weather, Denny Hamlin still not getting a championship. I
Yeah,
mean, it is just
somehow like getting a championship, but not.
yeah, that was
Let's think about that.
that was the craziest thing that I saw. So he's if I'm correct, he's clinched the number 1 seed for the chase offs.
Yeah, I think he's 77 points ahead of Blaney. 76 is the max you can get in a race.
Yeah.
So really, he don't even got a race this weekend. He could be like, it's not worth the risk, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, it's crazy to think because sitting there when I saw that he had clinched it, I was like, okay, cool. And then I was thinking, has he ever won a regular season championship? And I went to look it up, and it literally said Denny Hamlin has never won a regular season championship. While he clinched the top seed, NASCAR dissipated the regular season champion and trophy following this year's new playoff format.
I mean, let's be honest. That is
Is there anything
That is
more
so
Denny
Denny.
Hamlin coded?
Oh, you beat me to it. That's
Is
literally
that
what I
you
was
were
trying
gonna
to say. Is there is nothing more Hamlin coded than that. Like every single time.
Besides the regular season finale last year.
Oh man, what an absolute just event.
And they were trying to get the race going, and they were about to drop the green flag. It was sprinkling, and then Carson Hocevar started the day off early doing Carson Hocevar things, and spins out, gassing it off of turn 4, passing the pace car, which you're not supposed to do, and just bust his butt coming out of turn 4. And then they finally get the race going, and then Reddick is the pole sitter. And you would think, hey, it's raining, let's take it easy. We saw Carson Hocevar bust his butt before the race got started coming out of turn 4. No. Lap 1, turn 4, here goes Reddick spinning around. And then Hamlin and Buescher got semi-involved because they had to come to stops. So all 3 of them had to go to the back of the race, or back of the pack, to start the race.
Yeah, what a way to just start an event there. It's again that's very 2020-esque of New Hampshire and NASCAR.
I think that was 2024 when it rained there.
I was talking about Kyle Busch spinning into turn 1 and backing it in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So,
but there was
yeah,
a lot of spinning going on. John Hunter Nemechek, which he ran a special number, the 40, because it's Dollar Tree's 40th anniversary. So he was
and the
running a
position
special
he'll
number,
finish.
special paint scheme, and he spins on lap 22. And he was able to get it turned around, so there wasn't a caution for that. Which, I mean, between him and Hocevar in the recent weeks, the 2 of them, it's just like, oh man, it seems like both of them the past couple of weeks have been involved in something.
Yeah, Hocevar has not had a very good stretch of runs. I think I have a stat here. It says his average finish is hang on a sec. His average finish is 21.8 over the last 5 races. And you look at Eric Jones, who I'm pretty sure we all are ready to crown him a lot for the playoffs, has an average finish of 28.6.
Yeah, I don't know what happened over at
back
Legacy.
out of the chase-off standings.
Yeah, I mean, he was running so well, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
everybody was like, yeah, he's got it down. He's going to be in, and now he's mathematically eliminated. I don't know what happened over there to them.
The
But
other
in that,
end of the go ahead, Daniel. Sorry.
I was going to move on to the next thing, but you can.
So
you were about to continue that, so go.
yeah, just on the other end of that spectrum, we talk about Hocevar and Jones kind of running bad. You look at Briscoe. We kind of talked about him. 8.2. Josh Berry has turned his miserable season around to have a 11.6 average finish. Noah Gregson, 18.4. So you kind of you look at the guy that was up there early and they're kind of cooling off, and we see guys like Josh Berry, who is probably trying to put on for the 33, but that dream got dashed today when RCR re-signed Austin Hill.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to Door Bumper Clear when Noah Gregson was on there last week, and Tommy Baldwin was kind of poking fun at him. He's like, you're supposed to run good to get your contract extension, and then you can start running like crap again. You're not supposed to run like crap till they extend you and then start running good, which is really what's happened with him. But yeah, that Hill getting signed to the 33 does suck for Josh Berry, because the only other place he could go would be as if Rick Ware was like, I got a way better shot with Josh Berry than running Cody every week, which I don't think that's going to happen. But that would be the only, if I'm not mistaken, that's the only ride that could be available, because I don't even know if he's on a year-to-year contract or if it's just, or what he has going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When his dad owns the team, it's pretty guaranteed a ride unless there's something happens.
Mm-hmm. But in that first stage, while the tires or the track was wet, SVG was whooping their butts in that first stage. He had like a 7-second lead when they called that caution to declare the track dry, which really screwed him over.
Yeah,
because the broadcast was noting that like he was the only one doing it. He would alternate one lap, he would run high and keep his right side tires in the water. The next lap he would run lower and keep his left side tires in the wet, to keep his tires cool and just rotating it and just getting the most maximum speed out of it, to where honestly, because they were probably getting to the point to where people were about to pit when they decided to pull the competition caution and declare the track dry. But I mean, with the lead that he had, he was probably going to end up winning that stage. And instead, he finished 9th in stage 1, which really, screwed him over. But that brings the real debate of this race, I think. Should NASCAR have put that in the team's hands on when to switch to slick tires, or should they have kept that under control?
You kind of answered my next question. That's going to be my next question, because I can remember a time where it was up to the teams to come in. There wasn't a comp caution, and everybody has to go back to slicks. I can't remember the race, but I know it was. I don't think it was a short track. It might have been
I'm pretty sure
Richmond
it
or
was New Hampshire
somewhere
last
where
year,
you just
if I'm
saw
correct. I
cars
think it was New
slowly
Hampshire
one by
last year.
one going to switch to the slicks, and I was wondering when they made the rule. Hey,
I think what
we're
you're
all coming
talking
off the
about,
slick.
Harper, is 2024 New Hampshire, and they were calling cautions like every 40 laps. And one team, I can't remember which one it was like, well, this track's dry, we're putting slicks on. And NASCAR made them come back in and put the wet tires back on. But they leave it up to the teams at road courses. They don't. I just don't like, if we're comfortable at road courses. I mean, from what I've gathered listening to stuff, the biggest deal was pit road. But I think if you have a set pit road speed in the rain, like if you cut pit road speed in half, you're going to greatly eliminate that risk. You know what I mean? Because with how much slower they're running on rain tires, cutting pit road speed in half will kind of balance out on a regular pit road speed on a dry track. Like I think NASCAR could come over and say, "Hey, we're declaring this a dry track and keep it going." But I don't know. I didn't like it because SVG had a clear advantage and it was just snatched away from him. And I feel like he should have been able to keep that, you know what I mean? Because there's no telling when he would have actually pitted or if he would have pitted at all, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it really kind of just put their hands tied where there wasn't a choice there. And I do agree with the point that like this should not be a NASCAR related call. These teams are competent enough to be able to make these decisions based on conditions, and I think you put it in their hands. I get where they're coming from on the sense of like the safety aspect of it, but at the end of the day, like, are we the big leads or are we playing with kid gloves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what it looked to be that race I was thinking about was the 2024 All Star race when they started on the wet, and you had some teams come in and change tires, and you saw them just drive off or just kind of fall back. That's the race I was thinking about, but the New Hampshire race was after that one. So I guess with that
Hmm.
and what we saw at New Hampshire in 24, it's one NASCAR just said we're gonna make it. A run. Everybody's got a change rule, but like I've been saying, I really don't like that. It should be up to crew chief, driver, and thinking, hey, now I think we've still got some moisture here. I can use these wet weathers to my advantage. Or no, it's mainly dry. Let's put the slicks back on and see what we can do. I think it should be at the driver team basis instead of just one mandate. Hey, you have to do it.
Well, during that competition caution, Ross Chastain's playoff hopes went down the toilet when he had to bring it to pit road and to the garage with what turned out to be an engine issue, ending his day and his chase off hopes.
Yeah, he
Which,
was, as we said last week, he was kind of just hanging on by a thread there, and the the problem there was just put him out of contention altogether, and yeah, it was going to be a long shot for him, but
well, with where
uh,
he was running before his engine started expiring, I feel like he could have had a somewhat, I don't think he was going to have as good of a point stay as Priest was, but it was looking like he was going to have a somewhat similar point stay to Priest to where they both could have cut that gap a little bit to where he could have had more than, he's still going to have a slim chance, but it wouldn't have been as slim as where he was the week prior, you know? So that sucks for that team because it really seems like at Iowa, with that after the off week, it really rejuvenated that team and they were starting to show speed.
yeah, you know, I know. I think we talked about it last week. I can't remember. I did see this week where Chastain said that in team meetings and organization meetings, he's kind of pulled the fire alarms, saying, "Hey, we have to do something." He said we're falling behind, speed wise, performance wise, manufacturer wise. We have to do something to make our cars competitive and give ourselves better shots to win races and make the playoffs. And so that'd be interesting to see what Justin Marks and that group does. You know, going forward. You know, see if they can make themselves find that speed in the consistent performance that we saw when they first came into the. When they first came in, they bought Ganassi and the shop and everything that they just had instant success, but it's been falling backwards every year since.
Yeah, I mean, if there wasn't road courses this year, they wouldn't have no one would none of their cars would be close to the chase off contention, if we're being honest. It's just been a really, really abysmal year for them outside of SVG. I mean, he has started to show signs of hope for that organization, especially how he's been running at the short tracks and stuff. But I mean, really outside of him, it's just like it's you know like we said, since Iowa, really even Connor Zilic has turned his season around, um, and started running better after Iowa. But another guy that needed to turn his season around, Kyle Larson, wins a stage. He won stage 1 at New Hampshire. And then following that on the pit stops, mine and Allen's pick both decided to drag stuff out of their pit box. William Byron took a wrench out of his pit box and drove around with it on his car. And Christopher Bell drug one of his pit crew members out of the box because the hose got caught up under the car. So not great for them during the stage break.
Yeah, I watched Inside the Race today, and they kind of broke down all the pit mistakes we saw. And Steve Letarte was talking about that one. He said, don't really know what Byron was, their team was kind of doing. They went 2 tires on that pit stop, and he said a 2-tire stop really doesn't give you enough time to make adjustments. You need to do 4 because the driver goes on the drop of the jack, and if you ain't ready, done making adjustments, you're going, the driver's gone, and you're going to have equipment outside the box, and that's what happened. As soon as the jack dropped, they were still working, into the car, and Byron went. And so Steve Letarte was kind of putting blame on that on the crew chief, saying if you wanted to make car adjustments, hey, let's go 4 tires and make our adjustments because we ain't got enough time on 2.
Well, yeah, you got to think on a 2-tire stop, they're in there for 5 seconds. That is a really short period of time, especially if you're carrying a tire over, mounting it for the tire changer, and then trying to make that adjustment. That's a lot to do in 5 seconds. I mean, that's a lot to do in 9 seconds. But
you better, if you want to make an adjustment, you better start cranking real fast.
Well, getting into stage 2 is when Hocevar continued to do Hocevar things. And him and Connor Zilic made contact in the corner, which to me, it was just a kind of a racing deal. And then they're going down the front straightaway, and Carson Hocevar just turns left and spins himself out. And I was like, man, just when you think he's like kind of getting past some stuff, he starts doing that again.
On the radio, Hocevar was kind of blaming Connor. Said, what is he doing? What's this 88 doing? Why is he racing me? Not giving me no room. And he said he spun me out during practice or ran into me during practice as well. So I don't know. I didn't go back and watch the practice from Saturday or so. But maybe there's some kind of problem. Maybe they've had history that yesterday over the weekend, and I don't know because Connor's spotter and crew chief came on and told him, big picture, let's don't, ruin a good day here. And then they kind of come together there. So I don't know. I haven't, seen anything where but listen to the 2 team radios. Hocevar wanted to put all the blame on the 88. None of his.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're Hocevar, if he ran into you in practice, you have got to be able to look big picture and look at the past couple weeks and how much you've fallen in points. And if you want to put yourself in contention for a championship, you've got to not do stuff like that. Yeah, if you're mad at him, I mean, that's fine. Don't put yourself in a position to wreck yourself doing it though. Like you got to be more conscious of what you're doing. And it's just, I guess the longer he races, the more it'll start to click for him. But right now it's just like, man, what are you thinking? Because he is going to be a superstar in the sport, So
Yep.
it's like you want him to succeed because obviously he's one of the future superstars of NASCAR. So the better he does, the better the sport's going to do. But when he's doing stuff like that, it's like, come on, man. Like you got to do better.
Yeah. So don't know. It's just a rough day for him altogether. It was a rough day for him last few weeks, but like he's frustrated because they're not running as well as he thinks they should have run, and he's trying to do a little bit too much or try to make up for the performance of the race car, and it's getting him in even more trouble. And it just sometimes you just kind of take a step back and take what the car gives you, because if you're a 25th place car, finish 25th with it. Don't finish 30th.
Mhm.
If it's a 10th place car, take a 10th. Don't try to go for the win. Just take what it gives you and move on. And take as much points as you can get, because we all know points matter. So that's what he's got to learn. I think just take whatever it gives you and don't try to get better than it's actually giving you.
Yeah, for sure. And that was really the only big action in stage 2, besides Ryan Blaney decides to go on win stage 2 and kind of trying to tighten that points gap on Denny Hamlin. And then Ryan Blaney's pit crew does Ryan Blaney pit crew things, and they have a 14-second pit stop, and Ryan Blaney loses 13 spots after the stage win. That's their 9th big loss on pit road of the year, and they've lost 128 spots on pit road so far.
Yeah,
Still 11 races to go.
I really thought they had fixed their problems, because it's
Mhm.
been a minute since you've really heard the 12 car pit crew just dropping the ball on pit road and losing a lot of spots. We heard about a ton in the early part of the season, but it's kind of went away here in the summer months. And okay, they fixed whatever they improved and they're locking in for the playoffs. Well, they dropped the ball again big time. I really thought Blaney was done for. I was like, well, he's 14th. I think he came out 14th or so. I
Mhm.
mean, it's over for him. It's hard to pass, and but no. It just tells you how good of a race car he had and how good of a race car driver he is to get himself back up there and make up for the pit crew mistake. But I thought he was behind the 8 ball and probably just count him out at that point.
Well, I think what helped him out is, luckily for him, 3 laps outside the pit window opening up. If you thought we were done talking about Carson Hocevar spinning, wrong.
Yeah.
He spun again and opened up strategy for the whole field, because a lot of cars pitted, and I was like, man, are they going to try and go to the end on tires here? Which would have been crazy to see if the race would have went green, if those cars could have ran it out to the finish, and how that would have ended up working for them. But it opened the strategy playbook wide open for everybody. But while they were coming down pit road, Hamlin decides to pit. More pit road issues. Hamlin pits, and the gas man comes out, and you're looking as like, where are the tire changers? And then they're like, oh, we're changing tires. So
Yeah.
that was a huge mistake for him. It cost him
Yeah.
6 spots on pit road.
Yeah.
Thankfully for him, there wasn't a ton of cars on the lead lap, so he couldn't lose too many spots at that point.
I've never really seen anything like that. I thought he was going gas only, and then all of a sudden, here comes the tire changers jumping over the wall. I'm thinking, where y'all been? Like were you back there eating, eating snack, or like what were you forgotten your car was coming down pit road? Like I've just never seen anything like that ever.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Letarte kind of went on a little bit of an epic rant about how stupid the code words are for pitting. He said,
Yeah, yeah,
"Here's an idea. If you're taking 4 tires, say you're taking 4 tires, and
yeah,
then you don't have this instead of wondering about whether enchilada or taco is 4 tires."
yeah, yeah. I get when they do it, where because
Hmm.
where every team is listening, when they can change what they're doing. But I get when they do it, but like you got to make sure if I'm the crew chief, I'm coming down the box and I'm be like, hey man, this is a 4 tire, enchilada is 4. Let's all get ready, and 2 or 3 laps before we're pitting, I'm coming down the box and rallying everybody and thinking, hey, four tires, enchiladas 4. Let's go. But I guess I don't know. It's probably not the first time this year they've used Enchilada, but I've just never seen anything like it. It was kind of bizarre when they just jump over the wall all of a sudden. Like I
Yeah,
said earlier, I really
you'd
thought they were
think that
going to
they're
just
gonna
pass on it.
have a cheat sheet down there
Yeah,
of like whoever like the lead pit crew guy that's not the crew chief up on the box is. When they
yeah,
say enchilada, he's like, all right. And he's like, all right, guys, 4 tires, whispering
yeah.
around, you know?
Or get them like the armbands, like you see in football.
Yeah,
Enchilada,
like flip
4
it up,
tires, let's
enchilada.
go.
All right, yeah, yeah. And then that
Yeah,
would eliminate that. Because I mean,
yeah,
this is a championship contender or who looks poised to be the champion this year. I mean, it is Denny Hamlin, and something's probably going to happen with his
yeah,
history. But I mean, at this point, like this is who's poised to look like the champion. You can't be making those mistakes on pit road.
yeah. Like, can you imagine if that happened to Homestead on the last pit stop?
Oh,
Didn't that happen
that
last year at Phoenix on the last pit stop?
Yeah,
well, not so much that it was just they took 4 tires and Larson took 2.
Only thing about that
Um,
is Larson pitted all the way on the other side of pit road, and Hamlin had like the number one box. So
and had
there was
plenty of
plenty
time
of
to be like, all
time
right,
to make that
just take
change.
2, just take 2. Yeah,
Yeah,
but yes,
communication definitely needs to come
yeah,
into play there. So, but after that, I mean, what you have 77 to go, and Hertz gets spun by contact with McDowell into the wall. So, and then Zillage just wide open on the brakes in there, plowing through.
yeah. I mean, when I went back and listened to his spotter audio, and the whole time the spotter's like, go low, go low, go low, go low, go low, go low. And all the comments were like, is Natalie Decker driving? Did he not hear the
but
spotter?
we were out and about a lot yesterday, and I watched the condensed highlights today, and then I saw the Riley Hurt wreck, and all just a few seconds later, here comes Connor piling in. I'm thinking this looks like a wreck earlier in the year at Daytona, where Natalie Decker just forgot that she can actually change her car downwards and miss a wreck. But just I don't. And they said he was on the brakes, but still, I'd try to go down the track if I had to.
Yeah.
It just,
And then, yeah,
yeah,
that wasn't a good look for
it
him,
just,
especially after getting signed to the 88 last week for next year or the following year.
yeah,
Was not a great look for him.
yeah. Jeff Gordon was probably sitting there in the bottom thinking, "We really signed this guy?"
Well, and then speaking of Jeff Gordon, with 68 laps to go, his old car, the 24 car, I don't know how. I honestly have no idea how this happened because they took right side tires on that pit stop and they had changed their left side tire like 30 some odd laps before, and he loses his left rear. I don't know how that happened. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Like, how did he go
Yeah,
that long?
it sounds like it did it. I didn't get to see that part. Did it cut the wheel in half, or did the wheel just come off?
it just comes
The
off.
lug, yeah, the lug nut came off.
Ah, that's wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
normally you lose the lug and it'll sit on that spring, and cut the wheel. But
Hmm.
I mean, man, to that's a crappy way to get ready for the regular season finale. You're sitting there and you're close to the bubble. Granted, he's clinched now, but I mean that could have been detrimental to the rest of the season, real quick right there. But
S-
following that,
wh-
Eric Jones finds a finds out his transmission is made of glitter and loses it with 49 to go to round out
Continued
a
woes for
nice
him.
like 16 bullet point racing event at New Hampshire of all places.
Yeah.
So just kind of the cherry on top to the abysmal second half of the summer that he's had, falling out of the chase off standings and ultimately losing his chance at a spot in the chase offs.
Saw the stat here just now. Kind of we're just getting around the Byron thing. Prior to this season, Team Hendrick had 4 detached wheels since the NASCAR Next Gen car debuted. After yesterday, Hendrick Motorsports is tied for second most attached wheels amongst Cup Series teams since the 7th generation car first, and they are what did I say? Yes, with 7. So they're tied with JGR and 2311. So it's been kind of a bad year for them. I don't know if their guns aren't locking, or I think I'd probably be looking at my stuff.
Yeah,
At the
I
end of
mean
the
they've
year.
literally almost doubled their wheel loss total this year that they've had the prior 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, just kind of adds to the woes that they're having on track with the lack of speed that they've really had. When your pit crew's got to help you out when you don't have the speed to get out there and contend for. I mean, Chase Elliott does have 2, but outside of that, I mean, that's been it. Anybody being close. So you cannot be having pit issues, especially with the type of season the whole organization is having.
Yeah.
But young Ryan, I don't even know if you can call him young Ryan Blaney anymore. He's a dad now. Old Ryan Blaney wins again for the 3rd
Ryan
time this
bleeping
year.
Blaney,
Yeah, RFB instead of YRB.
RFB, takes the checkered flag, winning his, how many races is that now this season? Winning his
3.
3rd race of the season. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations, obviously locking in that 2nd spot. It looks like, hold on, I gotta check my points because I got my numbers. My math's not mathing today. He's not locked into 2nd place yet, but he's pretty close, with Ty Gibbs following right behind him. But again, Blaney takes a win at New Hampshire, showing again his short track dominance and capping off Team Penske's rise here in the second half of the summer.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to Daytona where they tend to shine as well. So
Yeah, and talking about our worry about Fords, right? Earlier in the season, we had 8 Fords in the top 15, with them sweeping 9th through 14th, with Priest, Gregson, Keselowski, Cindric, Zane Smith, Logano rounding it out. And then 2 in the top 3 with Ryan Blaney winning and Josh Berry with a 3rd place finish at New Hampshire. Just kind of solidifying Ford's
helping
continued
his
dominance on.
2.5 average finish there.
Yeah.
With how the season started, I semi understood Wood Brothers wanting to move on from him. I never really thought it was a him problem. I think it was a them problem. And I
Yeah.
kind of understood that, but they've got to be like, maybe we jumped the gun too soon, which I think, Jesse Love will have success. He's a good race car driver, but they got to
Yeah.
be like, dang, maybe this wasn't the right move.
Yeah, which Josh still hasn't signed anywhere for this coming year yet, correct?
No.
Nope.
And we talked about earlier, this is kind of the last Cup ride there is available. So I figure we'll see him in a Junior Motorsports Chevrolet next year.
Well, who's
Well,
hopping to
Colleague
the
hasn't.
88?
Colleague, well, that's going to be the following year, 27, because Bowman's still racing next year, and Zilich will be in the 88 next year. It's the following
Oh,
year after
yeah.
that.
Following year, yeah.
So the only thing I could really see, or I forgot about Colleague. He could jump into the 10 car, depending on if they go to Dodge or not, because I don't think Ty Dillon will drive for them if they're in Dodge. So there's that opportunity, or the 51. They haven't announced Riley Herbst driving the 3rd Legacy car yet, I don't believe, but that's also a thing. And if you look at how they've been running lately, do you want him or, that's also kind of a toss up. Do you want Herbst or Barry? But I'm pretty sure the Legacy deal with Herbst is probably locked up. They just haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
So there's not a great place for him to go, really. So, but
Yeah, not a whole
his
lot of openings
stay in
there.
the Cup Series, because I don't think there's going to be any turnover at Hendrick Motorsports, because the guy Sammy Smith's not going anywhere. Allgaier's not going anywhere. Carson Quaffel's not going anywhere. I don't think Rajah Karut's going to go anywhere with the HendrickCars.com support that he has. So, I mean, really, that's all 4 of Junior Motorsports cars locked up. Unless Junior is going to get with Bass Pro Shops and be like, hey, let's run an open car for him. He can run the 9 car all year,
Yeah.
or something. Or I'm sure Dale Jr.'s working on something to help him out. Because, I mean, he's a proven winner in the Cup Series, which a lot of people can't say, so I don't know. I do not know. I mean, he could go to the 21 in RCR because that's going to be open now. So there's a lot of unknowns for him on where he's going to end up because all the doors seem to be closing on him. But one of the doors that closed on him was Noah Gragson, who got a top 10 at New Hampshire, which was his best finish on a oval that wasn't a drafting track since the Coke 600 last year. The past couple weeks, he's finished 17th, 18th, and 10, which is a really, really good run for him especially with how his Cup career has gone, which has not been super great.
Yeah, I'm thinking that team is, you've seen somewhat of success, consistency out of the Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland, Mr. $1 Million Man winning the in-season challenge, and Noah says that car kind of lagging behind, and now the last few weeks we've kind of seen that he's joining the party and showing good results, and maybe it's a step in the right direction for them, and they can finish out the rest of this year, and maybe that's part of the NASCAR settlement that Front Row gets theirs. It's good success in 2027. This is just kind of because since 2311 got theirs this year's. The conspiracy theorists will tell you.
Yeah, Front Row's really debunked the whole the whole lawsuit speed, but
yeah, I guess it's coming next year for them. Watch out, Front Row going to win like 6 races.
Yeah. Yep. But what are you expecting to see out of Daytona this coming up week?
I tell you, I am excited to see what comes out of Daytona. So just real quick, guys, I don't know if y'all have touched on it recently. I don't remember listening, but the new Super Speedway package details. Y'all ready?
Yeah, his.
Let's do it.
All right. Spoiler size reduced from 7 inches to 4 inches, matching intermediate tracks. Horsepower was lowered from 510 to roughly 465 via change to the tapered spacer. The aerodynamics includes a wide splitter stuffers, new spoiler braces, and redesigned spoiler deflection device. The expected speeds in single car qualifying are to be 2 to 3 miles faster, while speeds in the draft should remain steady, is what it says. And then practice, there will be 0 practice for the race, meaning the drivers will experience the new setup live when the green flag waves. So, of course,
I cannot
they're going
believe
to have
they're
some
not
time.
doing any practice.
I think that
Like,
is the
that's
best
wild.
possible thing that they could do, especially with how the Super Speedway package has performed since they added all this downforce to the car. I think that we're going to see a lot of handling coming into play, obviously. I think that tire wear may be a factor, and I don't think that fuel saving is going to be the go-to strategy. And I am super excited that NASCAR pulled the trigger and did not wait until the 500 next year to start making super speedway changes.
Yeah, because if this doesn't work, they can pivot at Talladega again to see, like, if it made it better but still not great. They can be like, all right, we need to lower the spoiler more, or do what Dale Jr. said and just take them off.
Yeah, run it, no spoiler at all. But I'm expecting to see a much different super speedway and a much different Daytona than we have seen since the introduction of the next gen car. So obviously people are going to complain about less horsepower, but honestly, less horsepower means more horsepower at times too. It means more speed.
Well, I think it'll make the runs bigger because of how, like, I think Denny Hamlin explained it. He said with how much downforce you're taking off, with what they're lowering the horsepower, we're still going to be traveling the same speed that we were with the more horsepower and higher spoiler. There's just so much less drag on the car that if they were running the same 550 horsepower package, that they'd be going like 210 miles an hour. And with what we've seen with this Cup car, it does like to flip. Ask Ryan Preece.
Oh, spaceman. But
Yeah.
Get another one.
Here's
I
like
got
a
a
little bit.
feeling with this new package, we may see a blowover this weekend
It's gonna be right.
because I think these cars are going to be out of control.
Especially with how aggressive Brad Keselowski is probably going to be pushing Ryan Preece to help get him
Right.
into the chase. We might see him upside down.
There's a good possibility. I do agree with that. But I think that the biggest thing that we're going to see come away from this is it's going to be actually racing again. And like you just said, the downforce going down on the car, you're not going to hit a brick wall if you pull out of line, creating an opportunity to run a third lane. So parade laps look cool for about 10 laps, and then it kind of gets a little monotonous.
Yeah, well,
So
running 3 wide at Daytona is going to look a lot cooler when you're seeing cars check up and everyone gets squirrely and lines move, and it's not just 3x3x3.
yeah,
You know,
your biggest thing is just
you're going to have variances.
keep the Penske cars out of the front because they will fuel mileage it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not even really the Penske cars; it's the dang Toyotas. Those are the worst about it. If you see the Toyotas get 3x3 in front, just know the pace is dropping 4 seconds.
I will say they are talented though at wrecking together.
Yes, they do
Yeah.
that well. The Toyotas do not work well together at the drafting tracks.
Yeah, it was just a couple races ago back in Atlanta where Bubba Wallace was very upset with his Toyota teammate and Ty Gibbs for not really working with him, going with, I think, Blaney to kind of give him the push on that last restart. So, yeah, just a perfect example there that even in the last, I know Atlanta's not a true super speedway, but, we didn't have Toyota drivers mad at each other. So, I don't know. I guess Toyota doesn't lay down the rules like Chevrolet and Ford does, where you usually see the Fords and Chevrolets lock to each other. Toyota must not just give that strict, hey, if one moves up, you got to go with him. Just must be a fair game. But
A little more free
Which
for all.
honestly, I prefer.
yeah,
I'd rather there not be the whole manufacturer alliances. We're going to work together with everybody. Like, go run your own race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
boys
Which
have at it.
this race specifically is going to be very manufacturer oriented. The Chevrolets are going to be pushing SVG. The Fords are going to be split between Preece and Cindric. And then, I mean, Bubba Wallace is virtually a lock. He only has to earn 2 points to get in, but he'll be the main Toyota guy getting the push. Because Keselowski's not mathematically eliminated, but he'd have to win both stages and the race and hope that SVG wrecks and Preece for him to be able to get in, which is a tall task at a super speedway.
Very much
So we're
so.
going to say
Very much so.
realistically, it's a 3-pony race between Cindric, SVG, and Preece. Because we're going to go ahead and call Bubba Wallace a lock. He'd have to have something go terribly, terribly wrong for him to not make it.
Yeah, and pending that doesn't happen, he's just too good at super speedways to
Right.
not be.
Right.
I have some clinch breakdowns here if you want me to run through them right fast as we kind of lead into Daytona.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's run through those and then we'll run through our picks.
Austin Cindric can clinch the chase berth by finishing 4th or better or gaining 33 points total no matter what Preece does, finishing 24th or better or gaining 13 points total if Preece does not win. SVG can clinch a playoff berth by gaining 45 points total no matter what Preece does, or finishing 15th or better or gaining 22 points total if Preece does not win. If Preece and SVG tie, SVG wins the tiebreaker since he has 2 wins. If Preece has a perfect race, he can make the chase if one of the following occurs. Bubba Wallace finishes 36 or worse, if Cindric gains 32 points or less, if SVG gains 44 points or less. If Priest does not win but has the next best race, he can make the chase if one of the following happens. Cindric gains 12 points or less, SVG gains 21 points or less. If Priest fails to gain at minimum 33 points, he misses the chase-offs. Keselowski would not make the chase even with a perfect race. Brad can't pass Cindric if he has a perfect race. He can only still make the chase if SVG gains 9 points or less and Priest. Then Priest. Keselowski must gain at least 68 points or he is out. He must win. So what I've been saying, Brad has to win, and he's still not guaranteed a spot. Either he's still got to have some help for that.
Yeah, I mean, the only way his eyes might open is if sometime in the first stage, before they award stage points, Priest and SVG wreck each other out. Then Brad could be like, "Huh, maybe I need to turn it up and get up here and lead this dang thing," you know?
And it's the perfect storm with a new package coming into this race.
Because if it is, you know, like how we've had in previous years before the next gen era, Brad Keselowski was kicking everybody's butt on super speedways. So I'd say he has like a 5% chance, but you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Mathematically, it can happen.
And also noting that Ron Blaney, Ty Gibbs, and Tyler Reddick cannot lead Daytona any worse than fourth in points. So there would be second, third, and fourth in the chase in some order. So those three guys are pretty much locked into your second, third, and fourth spots in the bracket.
Well, from there, do we head into our picks?
Yeah. I'm finally excited to talk about it for the first time in several weeks because Christopher Bell with a fourth place finish got me out of my slump that I've had since Wilkesboro. Oh, well, I guess my slump hadn't been that long, but I have not been winning as much as Daniel and Elon.
Yeah, it's been
So-
definitely a minute.
Yeah. So my pick for Daytona is someone that I really need to get their crap together. Chase Elliott.
All right. Harper?
I got second pick, and not really sure who I want to go with here. I'm going to switch up what I have on the list and go back to what I had originally on the list. I'm going to go with that number 48 Ally Chevrolet of Alex Bowman. Kind of hard to pick against a Hendrick motor, Hendrick engine at a super speedway, and I'm hoping that Alex Bowman can do what he did at Talladega and have a top 5 finish and get me a win to end out the regular season.
That would be nice.
Well, I'm rounding out with third on my picks. And just so that I can go ahead and win this regular season title that we still claim, as Dan and I are tied at 84 points apiece, and our standings and in our point standings, Daniel Harper only has me by 2 points at 852 to my 850. I feel good about picking somebody that has yet to win a Cup Series race, but has been close and is always a good pusher and somebody that will help the team cause, and Riley Herbst. And
That is a
Emily,
pretty good pick.
Yeah, what did the universe?
the universe, it is coming to the end of the reign of the universe over your picks.
Maybe we'll see how my champions,
So
my chase off picks go, and
let's see
maybe
here.
let's go back into the universe again.
We
The
are
universe
going
has
to.
not been kind to me this season. Like,
Yeah, no, it has not.
took out my driver.
Now, this is
all
what
my picks somehow just never panned out.
this is what we're gonna do. All right,
I'll put
Daniel, do you
all
have
of
the
her
list up right
picks.
now?
Yeah, I have her list. She has
All right, give me everybody that's available.
Josh Berry,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Busch. I don't think you should put that one in there.
All right.
Michael McDowell,
All right.
John Hunter Nemechek, Todd
All right.
Gilliland, Zane Smith, Ricky
Mhm.
Stenhouse, Cole Custer, Ty Dillon, Noah Gragson, and Connor Zillich.
All right. So we are going to run this name pick. There is 10 entries here. And we are going to run it now. 2, 1. We are spinning. We are spinning. And Amelie's pick for the season closer is none other than Mr. Recky Stenthouse himself.
Oh my gosh.
Well, old Recky Spinhouse at Daytona.
Oh,
Hey,
Recky
he's good
Spenthouse at
there.
Daytona. That is a
I won with
solid
him
pick.
I'm pretty sure I won with him in the Daytona 500. So no. I did not. I did not. I picked him at Atlanta and he crashed.
What a pick. The first person yeah. What a pick there. Wow. So that will round out our picks for the 2026 NASCAR regular season. And next week we'll go over where we stand and we will start talking about who our picks are for the chase.
I'm gonna go ahead and start crying now.
So, well, as we round out the show and we head into a Saturday night showdown down in Florida at the High Banks of Daytona, do we have anything else to close, guys?
I think I'm good.
Yeah. Good show.
All right. Daniel, you want to hit him with the plugs?
Yeah, make sure to check us out on the Daily Downforce, and you can find our link tree to where you'll be able to find all of our social media pages and wherever you watch your podcasting platforms.
Make sure to check it out, and we will talk to you all post regular season NASCAR at Daytona. We will see you next week.
See ya.